Alright, so please tell me guys that you're gonna let me know if something shows up behind me or something. Sinister. No, this is obviously a rom-com. So we have Ethan Hawke in this movie. He's our main star. To be honest, don't really recognize any of the other people in this movie. He's the main focus, and it's all about him. And to that, I have to say, he does a really good job. It's about this writer that writes true crime stories. So he moves into the house where a murder took place. He doesn't tell his wife this happens. Makes for a good story, I guess. He's trying to write this novel about this family and about this murder, and things are kind of happening and more diabolical than what he had come to think would happened in this household. Well, it's kind of twisted and sinister, if I can say anything else. I guess this isn't a rom-com. We got ourselves a horror. Sorry. Misleading, I guess, in the title. Now, first thing, foremost, that I wanted to go off on in this movie, it's a horror, but it's not scary. And I know there's going to be a lot of Twihart-type people out there that are in love with this movie that are going to say, oh no, this is the scariest thing ever. But to be fair and truthful, it's not scary, it's just massively creepy. Running out of the theater thinking like, oh my gosh, this is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. This is the movie for you. Here you go. B-movie type scares that are going to jump you, but they're at extremely predictable moments in the movie. I have to say everything was mostly predictable. And that also leads itself to the story. Okay, and maybe I watch a little bit too much, Criminal Minds or The Shield or, good quality TV shows, but I think it was kind of predictable. Sorry, people. It was. Now, I know, I got a lot of angry fans out there right now, but I have to point one other major flaw out there. If you're just a casual moviegoer, if you're someone who, even averagely goes to movies, this is probably not going to be your movie. Unless you fall under one of these two following categories. You are a hardcore horror fan or horror buff. You're going to love it. It's going to draw you in right at the start, right at the get-go. Ethan Hawke does do a good performance. You will be befelled by his performance. Or if you're a hipster indie kind of person, this is also going to be your type of performance. You're going to like it because, well, you're the type of people that no one likes. And so I had to point those two categories out because if you're part of those two categories, this will be your movie. You're going to give it a good rating. You're actually going to like it. And for all intents and purposes, you'll probably get a 5 out of 5 or something up there in 3 or 4. For me, it was, falling apart in the last little while for horror movies and hasn't really been drawn in on anything. And especially for Tack, he's not here, but I feel like I can speak for him on this one. You're not going to be drawn in. You're a casual moviegoer like Tack is. You're not going to fall into either one of these two categories, and you're really going to feel at a loss, detached from the movie, and so forth. Alright, so reasons for being detached, you have to ask. Okay, I'll go on to that. Throughout the movie, you're watching a movie, watch a movie. Now, if I can be any more complicated, I will. He's watching these old documented films that have been recorded, apparently, of all the murders. The problem is these films are Hollywood-style snuff film, and you have to watch them countless time and time again. It was tasking for me, but again, if you're a huge horror buff, you're going to love these things because they're going to fall right in your category. One other thing I do have to point out about this movie is, and like I've said in many other reviews, I'm a huge fan when the production team put together an idea that say we're not going to stop to focus on the entire Hollywood genre, let everyone be happy in the end, and give me a Disney ending. They do focus narrow-mindedly on what their target market is, and they know what their target market is, and they actually capitalize that group of people. So like I said, if you're of those two groups, you are going to love this movie. This is your movie. It's not my movie, but sadly, I'm going to give it a bad rating because of that. So it's on to rating time, and I feel if Tack was here, I could give his rating to 1 out of 5 Hollywood endings. On to the next review.